Listen. So this is a quick video talking about the buffoonery that Disney has been pulling. And that's because Disney has come a long way from being Steamboat Willie, and now they're Google, they're Facebook, they're Twitter. Their power is so massive, it's only a matter of time till they unfreeze Walt himself. Let me explain. So we've made videos on the past dealing with Disney and how they act worse than Gaston, and I want to make sure right off the bat that you know I'm dissecting the business side of it, because there's many times where the artists don't really have a say in what's happening to their movies and don't even know that they're about to be put in the vault. And some would say that it's censorship. I'm sure you've heard about them going back and altering out things that aren't appropriate to today's times, and personally I side with the sentiment that if you try removing the past or altering it, if you're trying to hide these mistakes or the ugly side of history, then you're just like setting yourself up to repeat it. I don't want to see Disney rewriting history. You can't change the intent of a movie. It's almost like Disney wants to treat us like that mom in Black Mirror who tried censoring her child from everything. But I'm not on the side of Disney being allowed to rewrite history through art or any media. And the fact that studios and directors all have to deal with their cuts, that's for another video. Here we're talking about Disney not just changing, but completely hiding movies. Besides canceling over 300 Fox movies that were meant to be in the works before the merger, including a sequel to My Baby Chronicle, they're also vaulting movies that are already out. This is something that they did all the time back in the day, so this wouldn't be the first time that you've been annoyed by Disney. And honestly, it's the main reason I jumped on this video, because this is a pattern. Remember when they would release those VHSs or DVDs but rushed you to buy them because they were only out for a limited time? Because they wanted to control supply and manipulate demand? Man, I remember trying to find a copy of Beauty and the Beast for Alina while it was still in the vault, because it was her favorite movie. I had a better chance finding the castle than a copy. But in this case, where Disney is stripping the rights for theaters to host those throwback showings or anniversary screenings, it's bogus because, forget the major theaters, right? They're big enough and really they're dicks, we'll get to them in a bit. It's the smaller ones, the independent ones that are suffering. If you strip showings for movies that make up a significant percentage of their revenue, then at that point, you are responsible as a company for the closing of any of these independent institutions. These cinematic landmarks, like the Plaza in Atlanta where the owner asked, why would a distributor make it harder to be in the movie theater business now? In an era when there are a dizzying amount of streaming platforms launching, maybe this is their way of pushing you towards streaming, or their streaming service, which, man, that would be lame. I'm not against the platform, and I have been looking forward to it, but I don't believe it needs to come at the cost of other institutions, you know? Like, they're obviously not going to stop going the theatrical route either, so it just makes me wonder about franchise rights. Bruce Willis has been trying to kill Die Hard himself, but maybe Disney has plans, as they've been noted as trying to reboot it, along with rebooting Alvin and Caesar and Home Alone. We've all heard about projects being made just so the studios can maintain the rights, right? And perhaps what Disney's doing is pulling properties and waiting until they can refurbish them when the time is right, when those copyrights or whatever it is have gone by, and then they can reboot it the way they want to. It's been the plan for Star Wars. They've been trying to do it for Spider-Man. They're going to do it for Casper. It's almost like they need everything to be a product. It can't just be its own standalone movie or a show. You gotta secure the merch for it, the games, the spin-offs, and in some cases, of course, the amusement park rides.
And their theaters were almost like amusement parks in a sense. So these films now, I think, are more like theme rides.
I think when it came to Marty's words, it's easier to read a headline that mentioned him hating Marvel movies instead of what he was actually saying, which was, hey, the cinematic landscape is changing and all of y'all better be careful. Like when it comes to Coppola, obviously that dude was just bitter and he needs to go chug his wine nobody else wants to drink. But in Marty's case, nah, this man is still making epics. Obviously he's allowed to have his own opinion, but like, yo, I saw The Irishman, incredible. And yet theaters refuse to play it, trying to blame Netflix, when not, the disgrace was on y'all. If the Landmark Theater, right? If the Music Box in Chicago that's still sporting a live organ player before screenings can run limited releases on their one screen, then I really want to know what Marty knows, because he wouldn't have written this piece for no reason. It's clear that there's a lot of buffoonery going out there, and what he was trying to say was be careful of these big studios that are just trying to monopolize. But what did people flip out about? An old man not liking a talking raccoon movie? Are you serious? I agree with him in terms of whoring out product and that being a bad thing, but look, it happens to the best of projects, sometimes without the artist even knowing, and that's the thing you should be watching out for. Like I said in the beginning, not the artist, but the studios. Remember last year Netflix spent like $40 million on their Oscar campaigns for the very personal tale that was Roma? By whoring out Roma pillows so that they can get the gold? Now imagine everything that they have this year and how much they're gonna spend. I really hope they don't do that to Parasite and ruin the entire message of the movie by pandering to the Academy with, Parasite peaches. But product and how far it can be pushed seems to be the name of the game for Disney. I personally love the convenience of digital, but I don't want all of it to go away. I love owning a CD, even if, let's be honest, a playlist on your phone, so much easier than carrying around this thing. But with the quality that 4K discs are giving you, and the fact that streaming rights for it don't go away since you own the disc, you don't have to worry about it disappearing or being altered. It's yours to own. And it honestly sounds like that's what Disney hates the most. You can't own streaming, so they can guarantee monthly money from you if you want it. Disney's been holding movie theaters hostage for a long time in terms of forcing them to play their movies in as many screens, and if they don't want to, then they won't give it to them. And for as long as possible even. If they're not selling out shows, that doesn't matter, because in their eyes, it doesn't matter if the competition is making good movies, if you can't see them. If they hate sharing revenue with big theaters and, now holding older movies hostage is their way of getting more control, then honestly, it's just a matter of time till they open their own theater. And unfreeze Walt. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm curious to know if you're excited for the reboot for Alien Loves Predator. In all seriousness though, I think back to movies like Mad Max Fury Road. I never got to see Dunkirk on IMAX. Like, those are movies that, well, yeah, if you're super rich, I guess you have that at home, but like seeing it in a really big screen, those are dope screenings to have. I love seeing these movies when they come back to IMAX, like Jurassic Park and stuff. Hell, all the 70mm screenings. Imagine those midnight movies like The Room or the Rocky Horror Picture Show just going away. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that, but I am more optimistic. I don't think that every aspect of Disney, especially its many employees and artists, are all corrupt. I want to say that there's still a lot of good that's going on. And, personally, I always feel like, when it came to the James Gunn thing, when it came to even some stuff they were doing for Star Wars or just many other things, they always end up like listening, Spider-Man, they end up listening to the audience. So I want to say that we're still in control, but at the same time, I don't know, we could be getting manipulated, and this is all part of their plan. They cause the things that they already know we're going to complain about. But, people have been saying that torrenting is going to become the new film preservation, especially if they're literally stripping physical copies, if stores start stripping down media for digital codes instead of the actual thing. We'll see. I know people who think that there are only going to be Marvel movies at a certain point, and this one I gotta stop you there. I don't know what the hell you're talking about there. I have seen 3 Marvel movies this year, because that's literally all that's come out. If I were to include all those superhero projects, hell, even the shows, I think you're up to like 15, maybe 20. Hell, I'll throw another 10 in you. Let's say that there are 30 things out there, right? Bruh, I have still seen 437 other films that have nothing to do with superheroes. So I do think that a lot of it ends up becoming what's at the forefront and whatever the biggest thing is, and people are eating that up. But that doesn't mean the other things go away. I've always been big on like people are just not putting their attention to it. It's there, you're just not looking for it. But again, that's why we like making the must-watch lists and stuff like that. And it's why, even though I want to be optimistic with Disney, I still got to make videos like this to call them out, Because, not that it does anything, but still, I think it puts awareness for you in knowing that, 1, secure your media. The media you like, make sure you own it so no one can take it away from you. And 2, just listen to the buffoonery Disney has done. Other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or you'll be put in the vault.